Wakas Hader. Thank you both for joining me today. All right, Aaron, let's start with you. Take us back to those early days and what you were feeling.
Yeah, so I guess it was one night, I just started feeling a pain in my chest. I wasn't really sure what it was at the time. But as the night went on, as I was trying to lay down and sleep, the pain just got worse and worse and worse. So I ended up having to wake up my parents because I was still living at home at the time. And I asked my father, I said, "Can you take me to the hospital? I'm feeling like a lot of pain in my chest." I wasn't sure what it was. I was scared at the time it was COVID.
Mhm.
And when we got to the hospital, we weren't really sure what it was still at when I got there. So, but it was just a lot of pain. I couldn't really lay down, and I didn't want to move a lot. So,
And Dr. Hader, after several rounds of testing, what did they finally discover in the ER?
Yeah, so Aaron had a case of what we call myopericarditis. Aaron's was exposed to a virus which basically caused inflammation and irritation of the lining surrounding the heart called the pericardium. And there was also some inflammation in the muscle of the heart as well, which is termed as myocarditis. So after doing some blood tests and some imaging tests, including an MRI, it was discovered that Aaron actually had myopericarditis.
Hmm. And you mentioned a virus. So was there a COVID connection or no?
no, there wasn't a COVID connection. It turns out I actually got a virus called Coxsackie-B. And so 2 weeks before I actually, my heart started, started feeling the pain in my heart. I had that virus and I knew I was feeling like weak and fatigued and I wasn't doing much then, but at the time I didn't know there was much of a connection at all.
Hmm. How unusual, doctor, is this condition in an otherwise healthy young person? I mean, he's a runner. That sounds like a really shining example of someone who is in good health and his age as well on his side. What are some of the early indicators that you could look for, and can you detect this early?
That's an important question because, learning more and more about this condition, and we have a pericardial program here at MedStar where I, see patients very similar to Aaron, and we're learning that this is actually quite common. Uh, uh, the severity of this illness could be a spectrum from mild disease to severe and potentially life-threatening disease, but it is certainly not uncommon to have pericarditis or myopericarditis. And it's also important to note that a lot of these heart conditions were being associated with COVID. But as Aaron stated, the virus, the testing that he had, it was discovered that he actually was exposed to Coxsackie. So this condition, it certainly warrants some index of suspicion. So if somebody had a virus and they were having runny eyes, runny nose, and they started to develop chest pain, especially if it is worsening with taking deep breaths or a lot of fatigue and problem laying flat or unexplained swelling of their lower extremities or just overall not feeling better. I think it's certainly warranted to explore whether they have this heart condition, which can cause inflammation of the lining of the heart.
Would a benchmark EKG, if you will, be helpful in an instance like this, or can it just pop up even after having normal readings?
That's a very important question. And the nuance is yes, you can certainly see EKG changes in the acute setting, but sometimes we meet patients when their EKG changes have normalized. So a lot of times this diagnosis gets missed because we are relying so much on some blood work, such as inflammatory markers like ESR and CRP and EKG. But, which is why if there is a high index of suspicion, we should be thinking more about doing an echocardiogram, which is an ultrasound of the heart, and an MRI, which is essentially the best test to look for any inflammation in the heart muscle or surrounding the heart.
Well, Aaron, we're certainly glad that you were in such good medical hands to have this properly diagnosed and treated. I'm just curious how you're living your life now, and are you still running?
I'm not still running anymore, but not because I can't. I think the runner's life is just past me. Now I do a lot more physical, like weightlifting. and short bursts of cardio and just sports and whatnot. So I'm very active today. I feel like I can do anything, that I wanted to in the past. I don't feel limited in any way, shape, or form right now. So I feel very much normal.
Well, we love to hear that, and we're so grateful that you are both able to join us and perhaps raise awareness about this so other folks out there will at least keep this on their radar. Aaron Coates and cardiologist Dr. Wakiz Haider, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having us.